You know, have you ever stared at some wild mathematical formula and just thought, there has to be more to it? Well, back in 1914, the genius mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan found an equation so strange, so elegant, it's been blowing minds for a century. But what if it's not just about numbers? What if it's the actual source code for our reality? Okay, let's just take a second to look at this thing. This formula is one of Ramanujan's most famous discoveries. For mathematicians, it's a ridiculously good way to calculate the digits of pi. It's clean, it's powerful, and for most people, it's just a really, really cool numerical coincidence. But today, we're diving into a theory that says it's no coincidence at all, not even close. And that right there is the big question we're tackling today. Is this just a pretty pattern of symbols, or are we looking at an instruction manual for the universe itself? A literal blueprint that spells out how our reality is built, how it's run, and maybe even what it's all for. So where mainstream science sees, a fascinating curiosity, one very speculative theory looks at this exact same equation and sees the fundamental algorithm for all of existence. We're going to explore this idea that this isn't just math, it's the architecture of the entire cosmos. Well, this wild idea actually has a name, the Kanama-Mori universe theory, or KUT for short. It's a completely different lens for looking at this old formula. KUT basically says that the universe is one giant computer program, and this equation, it's the operating system, running on some seriously epic hardware called a primordial black hole processor. Now, the absolute heart of KUT is this. The equation isn't trying to calculate the number 1 over pi. Instead, it's actually achieving the resolution of reality. Every single part of that formula isn't just a value, it's a command for the processor that is literally rendering everything you see, hear, and feel right now. The theory even gives this cosmic computer a name, the Psi-PBH. And it suggests that our entire physical existence is just the output of a calculation that's happening inside of it. Yeah, you heard that right. The theory basically says we're all living inside a computer. All right, so if this equation is a blueprint, let's pop the hood and see how the engine works. We're going to take this formula apart, piece by piece, number by number, and see what each part is supposedly doing in this cosmic machine. First up, we've got the number 1103. According to KUT, this isn't just some random number pulled out of thin air. No, this is the starting point. This is the initial seed from which everything, and I mean everything, grows. And check this out. KUT breaks this number down digit by digit, and it reads like a cosmic startup sequence. You've got 1 for identity, the system exists. A second 1 for mirror symmetry. 0 for the void, the raw potential, and then 3 for the emergence of our 3 spatial dimensions. The theory argues this is a fundamental code, not just a number. So, to put it simply, 1103 is like the universe's cryptographic key. It's the ultimate zip file. It holds all the potential, all the information of our entire cosmos, just sitting there in a zero-point state, waiting for the command to run. Okay, so we have the blueprint, the seed, now we need the engine. We need something to make it all go. And that's where the number 26,390 comes in. If 1103 is the static file, this number is a processor that runs the program. Now, this is where it gets really wild. KUT claims there's this hidden rhythm inside the number, a dual resonance. It sees the 2 amplifying to a 6 as the code that governs matter, and the 3 amplifying to a 9 as the code for energy. And that 0 at the end, that's a system reset. According to KUT, this constant pulse is what we experience as time. So this number's job is to be the chrono driver. The best way to think about it is like the clock speed on your computer's CPU. It's the engine that kicks the whole process into gear, generating time itself, not as a smooth river, but as a series of distinct, pulsating computational steps. Tick, tock. All right, so you've got this incredible seed and this powerful engine pumping out energy. But all that stuff would just fly apart without a container, right? Well, that's where the number 396 steps in. This is the component that creates a stable place for reality to actually happen. And get this, built right into the system are these 2 incredible fail-safes to keep the whole thing from, breaking. The square root of 2, that famous irrational number, supposedly acts as an anchor to prevent gravity from crushing everything into a big crunch. And a hidden factor of 44 inside the 396 acts as a governor to stop the universe from expanding forever into a cold, empty heat death. So you can think of 396 as the harmonic cylinder. It's like a cosmic cooling chamber. It's the stable, three-dimensional stage where all that raw data and chaotic energy gets organized and rendered into the physical space we actually live in. It's the theater for the whole cosmic show.
Okay, so we've got the hardware down, the seed, the engine, the container. But what's the point of it all? What's the software it's running? This is where it gets personal. Because Cute says that consciousness, that's us, isn't some random accident. It's a required part of the system.
So how on earth do you get consciousness out of math? Well, KUT points to the factorial function, k factorial. It sees this as memory. Each new moment is mathematically linked to all the moments that came before it. But then you raise that to the fourth power. KUT interprets this as a self-referential loop. The system isn't just remembering its past, it's observing its own history. And that act of self-observation, that's what the theory calls consciousness. The implication here is just staggering. This quote from the theory says it all. In this model, we're not just some happy accident of evolution, we are a necessary component of the cosmic machine. We are the renderers required to observe the output and collapse all that infinite potential into one single perceived reality. So if the whole universe is one giant computer, and we're inside it, then you have to ask the big one. What's the point? What is the end goal of this whole cosmic calculation? QUT proposes an end game, something it calls the omega point. And the goal isn't to get a perfect number. The goal is something called dimensional crystallization. The idea is, as the calculation nears infinity, our reality, which is the output, collapses and inverts on itself, becoming a new, more perfect input seed for the next universe in a higher dimension. And this leads us to maybe the most powerful, most mind-bending line in the whole theory. Our entire universe, with all its stars and galaxies and life and history, is essentially a reproductive organ for the multiverse. Our reality is a cosmic gestation process. So let's just take a step back for a second. We started with one single, beautiful equation. And through the crazy lens of the Kanamori universe theory, we've seen how it could be a blueprint for a cosmos that literally builds itself from a numerical seed, develops consciousness just to observe itself, and ultimately reproduces. It's a radical, out there, and absolutely fascinating way to think about everything. And it leaves us with one last big, provocative question to chew on. If this theory is even remotely true, and we are all living inside a cosmic calculation, what is the final answer it's trying to find?